Good morning. Today is January 15th and right now it's about 7:30 a.m. So very early for me. I've been getting up early lately. So today was kind of funny when I wanted to start the morning journaling. What was going on in my head was that I wanted to say Captain's Log. If you are a Star Trek fan, you would know what I'm talking about. So a friend of mine, he was actually joking about some Star Trek thing yesterday, and he and I were texting, and so it made me think of that every day that I do the journaling video in the morning. Anyway, that was kind of funny. You know, those little things in life can be funny and we can rejoice it. So today I want to talk about a lot of different things, but let's start with this. So if you have not seen, and if you're interested, and if anybody you think might get help, so I started a new playlist called Powerful Personal Growth Shortcuts. Powerful Personal Growth Shortcuts. Because in today's in the TikTok world, I don't have a TikTok account yet. I don't plan on, at least not now. Everybody wants instant gratification. More than instant gratification, everybody wants to know that the tactic works without waiting for 3 months, 6 months, right? We instantly want to find out if something is going to work. Sometimes we have to go through many things in life to figure out what works. I remember back in the day, 3, 4, 5 years ago, whenever I had some health issues and I tried everything, and then I bumped into Ayurvedic medicine. I knew about Ayurvedic medicine because it was, sorry, I need to check if there is, no, I had energy square before, so I was making sure it's not sticking on my lips. Anyway, excuse me. You guys might be thinking, what's going on? I'm not very used to getting up in the morning, so I'm getting used to. So, because Ayurvedic started in India, but I haven't experienced anything with Ayurvedic medication, how it works and stuff. So when I tried first 2 months, I just tried knowing that there was no improvement. I had bad acid reflux, and then after 2 months, when I first started seeing improvement, which I haven't seen with the traditional medicine, when I say traditional, like, we go to doctor, get regular medicine, and none of those were working. It was getting worse. But then after 2 months, when I saw the impact, I kept going on for a year, and that made a significant difference. But for that, you have to be in a place where you're like, okay, I tried everything, it doesn't work, right? But otherwise, people want to see some instant gratification. So anyway, I created a playlist called the shortcuts, right? Personal growth shortcuts. So check those out. These are like 1-day challenge. 1 day is not too hard to figure out if it works or not. So right now I have a couple of the videos there. I will keep adding more. A lot of the practices that I have done, a lot of the practices that I have learned from many different books, and I mix them in whichever way it can get you out of that, the fearful zone it'll take you to the fearless zone, or freedom, whichever way you want to call it, because none of us enjoy to be in the fearful zone, right? Because it's not fun. It's the valleys. In Tony Robbins' term, it's the valleys. You want to be in peak state, not in the valley state. Valley states are sad, anger, bitterness, resentment, all of that comes around when we are in the valley state. One of the interesting thing I learned throughout this process in the past year with all my emotional growth, I mean, of course, I've been learning it for 10, 15 years or longer in some way. However, past 1 year was like the absolute breakthrough, I would say. Many people would talk it in a different way, but for me, I know how I felt at this time last year, how I feel at this time now. You have to get to a point when you are not looking for somebody else's validation for your progress, your growth. Not only that, you need to be ready to walk the path alone. What I mean by that is, for a long time, and it will bother you. And as time goes by, you will figure out new ways to deal with those situations. For me, I remember in the early days, excuse me, if I were to talk about early days transformation, if I can refer it that way, I was looking for a lot of my friends' validation with the things that I was doing, or that, oh, I did wrong or right. Right or wrong is also very, I believe there is no right or wrong. It's all depends on how a person looking at it. But of course, if you're hurting somebody, that's wrong. That's from any account, that's wrong. So whatever you're doing, as long as it's not hurting anyone else or not hurting yourself, there's no right or wrong. So and we all have to have grace. The term grace, sometimes different people could take again in a very different way depending on how they were raised, their religion, etc. Oh, by the way, I'm using this cup today, Dixie cup. I'm a big fan of this Dixie cup. It feels really good on your hand. And even my daughter, Alice, she's like, oh, I like this cup. They feel good. I have always liked this Dixie cups. So I bought some of them. So I'm just using these cups these days for coffee. It's the little things in life, right? You gotta enjoy the little things. And I'm grateful that these little things make me happy. That's how I am. Anyway, there are big things too that makes me happy. I wanna go visit an island soon. Maybe in summer I might go to Virgin Island. I don't know. We'll see. So that was one of the big realization throughout the process that I learned. I remember even talking to a friend several months ago, and she was having a bad day. So I was talking to her, and she's in a different time zone. And I was explaining to her that, for me, that's how I had to learn a lot of things. And in some way, I think for me, it was not a surprise because I have been further from my family in my life that I have lived so long, much longer than I had been with them. I was in my home with my family back in India only up to 18, and now I'm in 40s. So I had to learn a lot of things by myself, which helped me to realize that ultimately, no matter what you do, how you do, you are walking your path alone. Of course, you have your support system and they will help you, but there will be times that you have to pick it back up yourself, and then you have to keep going. And it is good to learn. It is good to learn because when you learn, the best part of it is you can teach others. You can teach others to do that, how to do that. And that can give other people the power and strength and the resilience that they thought it was impossible in their life. And that is what I'm experiencing, and that's an absolutely amazing feeling. Yeah. Um, it is good when we can figure out how we can pick ourselves up from the ashes and build ourselves back, a renewed version. But imagine when you can do that for others, that is what will bring you the absolute joy that's beyond, way beyond what it does for your own self. And in that, for me, what was helpful was like the faith, believing in God. So even though I was alone, I didn't feel fully alone. And I do believe that there was a reason how things were, how one door was opening after another in a certain way at a certain time. That's how it was meant to be. And I even said to a friend about this yesterday. So she's another friend. I have lots of different friends, and I'm so grateful for all of them. So she's feeling a little sick, and she was having a little hard time about things, and I just reminded her, and she does that for me too. Sometimes I said, I'm just going to tell you what you tell me sometimes. Don't worry about things. Just think that, right now, how things are unfolding, that's how it is supposed to be, right? Universe is on your side, and things are unfolding exactly the way it is supposed to be. And that kind of goes with my statement that I have there. I wrote it down. I accept this moment just the way it is. I accept this moment just the way it is. I have some of these notes here, and this is also on my YouTube description page, where I refer that will take so much. Again, if it resonates with you, different thing resonates with different people. I'm not saying that it may resonate with you, and you might have to change up the wordings or things in a way that it fully resonates with you. But come up with a statement like that. It just takes the pressure off of trying to control every situation. And there is nothing wrong with that. Our human mind, the way the brain is wired, it was built that way from millions of years, I guess. So when we are trying to change it, it's not easy, right? Unfortunately, computer gets the updated operating system. However, our brains, we don't get updates. So you have to work with a million years old operating system. However, the good part of that is we can change it any way we want it over time by practicing, by creating new habits. And any habit that you're trying to create, just try for 3 to 6 months. It will blow your mind in a good way. I mean, I always heard it in so many videos, so many things, but until I did it, I did not realize the impact is, because the time is going to pass anyway, right? So it's good to see, especially if you're trying to build a good habit. It's good to stick with it, because the best part of that is one good habit is going to drive another good habit, is going to drive another good habit. And before you know it, after a year, you'll be a completely renewed person. In a way, you will do things in a way that you would never thought was possible. All your limiting beliefs that you had from childhood you're gonna crush them, because that's how life works. If I were to tell you now that I have gotten to a situation where I don't wait for validation. It's great when I hear from some of my friends that, the validation, the great thing that I'm doing, it's awesome. But even if I don't hear it, I'm gonna keep going. And that's the state is, that if you think of joy, peace, contentment, and all of that, then we know how to cultivate it. And of course, I go back to my praying and and learning more. I have become Christian, so it's a lot of new learning for me, and I enjoy learning about them, like different things, because it's vast, especially if you didn't grow up with it. It's vast, and not everybody has to follow um, Christianity. What I think is anything that if you feel that you're going with the flow and it's not feeling like resistance to you, just go with that. If it is, excuse me, if anything is meant to be for you, it'll happen. I never knew or thought that this is going to be my path, but this is how things unfolded for me, and someday I will create a series of those videos that how that path unfolded for me. um, for me it was something that I could not deny. There are way too many coincidences or synchronicity, whatever you want to call it as. Now you can call them synchronicity, you can call them coincidence, you can call them nothing, or you can call them that's God's way of showing the path to me. And for me, I chose the last. It's the God's way of showing the path to me. And that is what gave me a lot of strength. And I have a community from the church. I have community, they call it shepherd groups. It's the Bible study group. It's actually Thursday night. So tomorrow I'll be going there tomorrow night. People are super nice. So again, it goes back to whatever you are doing in life, if it feels like you are going with the flow, going with the wave instead of the against the current, going with the current versus against the current, that means you're at the right direction. And sometimes right away you may not find out which direction you're going to, and it's okay. You got to keep going for a little bit, and then you'll find out. I said that this thinking, speaking, and action, short form could be TSA, not the airport TSA, but thinking, speaking, and action. That's a good acronym, TSA. So more we try the speaking, because that can be in our control, more we try to speak positive, and that is one of the one-day challenge I have from yesterday, and more of those kind of things I'm going to create in the upcoming days and weeks, because those are the things that even helped me too. If you can expand it from one day to a week or 2 weeks, you will see bigger changes. But I wanted folks to see the change just doing one day, because in today's TikTok day, people want instant gratification, and that is one way you can find some instant gratification. And when you get that, chances of you trying it again is more. So that's why I thought let's try that, and I've seen that helped a lot of people. So yeah, just figure out how you can sustain your growth. When I say growth, more emotional growth, because the physical growth is after effect. Emotionally, if you become so strong that nothing can break you, and nothing can pull you down, and even if it does, you bounce back faster. There would be times that something will pull you down, and every time you bounce back, but how quickly you bounce back is what matters, right? Sometime when people get down, fall down, or somebody push them down, you might stay there for an hour, you might stay there for a month, you might stay there for a year, you might stay there for 10 years or all your life. And that is not worth it. That is not worth it. And this is why I'm so passionate about, creating this thing that I want to make people realize that if somebody pushed you down, don't stay there. You don't have to stay there longer than you need to. Sometimes you need to stay there until you learn, until if there is any trauma from the past or things like that from the past, and you want to learn some lessons from there, grow from there, you gotta do that. But you do not have to dwell in that bottom, right? You figure out, you create your own formula with help, because we all have different formulas in our life. In the past, we fell down, especially if you're in your midlife. Everybody, all of you have been through some things, some crazy stuff. I know I was gonna say crazy shit, but okay, sorry, crazy stuff. And you figured out how to get up and how to do the right thing and how to be successful again in life. So we just need a quick reminder to those things that you have done in the past. From those big fall, you figured out how to get up and go again, and from there you need to draw some pattern. What are those formulas for you specifically? Like, I have my formula that I created, which is why I dwell less in the bottom, because now I know what formulas work for me that pulls me up, right? And for me to get to the state where I don't really care, and literally it might sound a little arrogant, but that's how we gotta live our life. I don't care the validation or what somebody says about the things I'm doing, because I know that I am doing the right things. I'm trying to make a good difference in this world. And if you believe in God, God sees all of our hearts. God sees what's in our heart, right? So if somebody's saying something, it's between you and God. Are you right? If you're doing something wrong, or or if you believe in the universe, or other kind of God or religion or whatever, it's always between you and the universe. It's always between you and the higher power, not with anyone else. Everything around you is temporary. Just think about this in your life 10 years ago or 20 years ago. The surroundings that you had around yourself versus now, they're very different. Same thing, the people around you right now, give it 10 years, they'll be different. Some people will continue in your life because the close friends and the families will be there, but there will be new people who will come, and the old people will fade away. Old meaning not older people, but the people you knew from a long time, because the frequencies are not going to match anymore. And you release the old and make space for new, and that's how your new life is gonna unfold. But it is always between you and the higher power, not with other people. And that takes time. And that way you don't feel fully alone in your journey. And what you feel is, no matter what happens in your life, you can get back up every single time. And more we go through those kind of situations in life, we just get stronger and stronger and stronger. It builds resilience and persistence to the point that it can be, but it can happen only if we look at it from the point of view of as a learning lesson. Wayne Dyer said, we are in this art school, right? Every experience and everything can be a learning lesson. So if we are looking at something as a learning experience, the way I look at it is every interaction with anyone, friend, family, I don't know, doctor, school, church, everywhere can be a learning experience when we are willing to look at it that way. Somebody who is telling you good things, giving kudos, somebody who is criticizing, somebody who is blaming, right? All of this is something that we can learn from. Not that everybody who's blaming you for something that you don't deserve, um, you need to accept and, be the doormat. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if somebody is blaming wrongly, and if it is bothering you, that means we have more learning to do. That means we are caring for the validation from those people, which we don't have to. It's all between we ourselves and the higher power, we ourselves and God. Because if we know in our heart that we are doing the right thing, and in Christianity, I think they call it repentance, and you repent and then God will forgive you. And again, I'm very new to this, so if you are Christian and you're coming to this channel, I know that some of you have been following Christianity for a long time. You're coming to this channel, so have grace for me because I'm learning. I'm very new into this, so sometimes I might be saying things that are not fully accurate, but I have good intentions, just know that. And I'm learning, so a year from now I'll probably know a lot more. And I think that is important, to have that good intention for ourselves and everybody else around us, right? Our life is short. 100 years from now, okay, I'll give it 150 years. 150 years from now, nobody who is living right now, including the richest people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and, I don't know, Bill Gates, nobody's gonna be alive. We all are gonna be dead. Underground. It's funny at the same time, not funny, right? We all, people, like everybody, rich or poor, everybody, we do so much to hold on to things as if they're permanent, but they're not. Everything is impermanent. Everything is changing. Every second, every moment is new. And but there's a beauty in it. There's a beauty in it because, when life is bad, if some difficult experience, if you're going through some difficult experiences, then it helps us to, then it helps us to look at it in a way that that we don't have to go through it forever, because it's gonna end. The bad time is gonna end. And now I know that when it's a good time, it feels like, why doesn't it last longer? Because we are present in that moment and we are not thinking about the past, we are not thinking about the future, and we are just enjoying that moment. But the good part in that is because there's a cycle of good and bad, and that's why we enjoy the good experiences more. Sort of like, think of it how night and day, right? We are more thankful of the sunlight because there is a darkness at night. So the sunrise and sunset is more beautiful because there is a darkness in between. If you go to Alaska, which I have never been, but I know that first I heard about this back in 2006, yeah. So I was working in Capital One in that IT, Richmond, Virginia. So I met a person who was originally from Alaska, and he was saying like how, now from internet, of course, you know that, they have this 20 hours of day and then 4 hours of night, and then for 6 months and another 6 months it's the other way. 20 hours of darkness and 4 hours of sunlight. And I was like shocked to hear that back in the day, 2006, like almost 19 years ago. So, then imagine that. So when that happens, they probably, after 20 hours of darkness, they probably enjoy. Excuse me, I have this sneezing allergy sometime. Thankfully, it's not happening too much. Happens more if I get up early. So, the darkness, after 20 hours of sunlight, 20 hours of darkness, the 4 hours of sunlight is even more precious, right? Because you have been in the dark for so long. So why I bring this example, not that I thought through, it just came to my mind, so I'm just talking about it. As you guys know, the journaling is like that, it just goes with the flow. It is because when you are going through, especially if you're going through life transition, for a long time, it may feel like very dark, and you just keep going through, you just keep walking, even though it's dark initially, you might not see the light at the end of the tunnel, but you just gotta believe that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, just like the sunlight always comes out after the dark night. You just gotta believe that it's there. Keep walking, keep walking, keep walking, and then at one point you will start to see a little light, and then you get even more motivation. Then you keep walking further, the light gets a little bit brighter. Keep walking, keep walking, it gets a little more bright, and keep walking, and the light gets so very bright, something that you have never seen before in your entire life, and that it shocks you, it surprises you in a way you thought was never possible. And that's what happened to me. So it's possible. It's also important to surround yourself with the right people. If there is only one thing I can tell you what you can do for yourself during this period, you must surround yourself with the right people. And you have to be ready to let go of the people who are bringing the worst out of you. And you have to, push yourself out of the comfort zone a little bit to meet new people, because that's how you will bring the goodness in your life. Because if you, like Joe Dispenza would say, that if you are always in that familiar situation, who not about just bringing out the worst or anything, if you're always with the familiar situation where somebody or some friends or whoever is bringing things that is keeping you in that bottom, or at least they're not being happy about you getting better, feeling better, or pulling yourself up, you're gonna stay there without even knowing, because our subconscious, and during those periods when you're in the dark, subconscious takes hold, and the conscious mind, when you are pushing yourself out of that comfort zone a little bit, slowly it starts to take control, because this 5% that can control in this 95%, because this is the subordinate and this is the boss, if you want to call it that. It's not the right interpretation, but this is the boss. But you need to, there's something in your mind, the soul, superconscious, whatever you want to call it as, that is beyond this, to the conscious, and subconscious is always going against each other. But this little thing is so much more powerful than this can run this entire thing. And so initially you have to push that, you have to make it believe that you can do it, and that's how the habit is formed. So as you train this trains this 95%, and then you become unstoppable. Trust me, it happens. You just gotta keep doing it. every single day, every single day. Sorry about my nose. Sorry. I'm still getting used to getting up in the morning, and I'll be, see it in a month, I'll be a completely different person, and also the cold will be less. Now it's like 20s, it's super cold, 20s in Fahrenheit. Anyway, I hope that this video is some way, shape, or form, as some of you guys have said, it helps you, it inspires you, and I hope the people around you also feel the difference, because there's always a ripple effect. Don't forget that, because one good action, even doesn't matter how little it is, even a simple smile, right? When you're at a grocery store, you smile at somebody and you genuinely ask, how are you doing today? Oh, how is your day going? That little thing can make a difference, because all day nobody probably have asked them how they are feeling. There could be, an older person, maybe family lives far away and they are just by themselves, and 80-year-old person might be working at the counter. Just being a little nice and generous and kind to them and smiling with them, that can make their day. Those little action, can make a difference, because you will feel better too by doing them. I share this more because sometimes I do, and I'll be honest, I don't always remember to do them. So I say it more, going back to the thinking, speaking, action. So I say it more so that I do it more, right? Smiling doesn't cost anything, but your little smile can bring out smile. Excuse me. Smile to so many other people's faces, because when they are happy, they're gonna go distribute it to others, because they're gonna smile to the next person, and you might make a big difference in their lives and people around them. So with that, I'm gonna finish the video. I just wanted to let you guys know, here I don't talk about progress anymore. If you see in my videos, I don't know, 3 months ago I used to talk about progress almost every day in the beginning. I don't say much about it because I share lots of other things and my videos get too long. I still I think about it here and there, and thank God that I know that I'm making progress. And sometimes you are the only person who can measure it, like, are you in the path of becoming the person that you always wanted to be? And you do not have to be, nobody's like fully perfect, nobody's perfect. But are you becoming the person that you wanted to be? I wrote a letter to myself last year, actually a friend told me about that, and that kind of gave me a path to walk towards, and I know that I'm making progress. So wherever you are today, if you're still watching at this time, the video is like 38 minutes. Write a letter to yourself next year at this time. How do you see yourself? What are the things you're proud of that you tried, you did? And that will give you a guideline how or where you are walking towards, and your thinking, speaking, action more in alignment, you will reach there faster. So, and along the way, you will learn so much that is like, I can't even put it in words, that will blow your mind in a good way. So, so the progress, and again, don't look for perfection, just look for progress. If you can't see daily progress, measure monthly, measure every 6 months or a year. And 3 new gratitude. This is my gratitude board. I still do gratitude. I just do it in my mind, or I speak it, and but I do 3 new, and that keeps in the present moment, so that helps. I do affirmation. I practice the present moment. You don't have to do all of that. These are my way of doing it. You can just pick one. The simplest one, I think, is just doing 3 new gratitude, and there is so many research around it that it changes the brain chemistry. Literally, you can research everywhere. There's so much data around it that 3 new gratitude, if you do, I mean, you can just do 3 gratitude, but 3 new gratitude is even more powerful if you do it every single day. And the timing of it is like, you can make it more powerful if you do it right before going to bed meaning right before going to sleep, and when you get up early in the morning, because then our brain is more clear, because it's not cluttered with the day's thought or whatever was happening or whatever has happened, because our mind is cluttered with all those, little bit of negativity. But right before going to bed or right after you get up from bed, your mind is more clear, there's less clutter, and that's when the power is more. So you can start with the gratitude. Actually, the 1 day challenge, I'm going to make a one with the gratitude and some other things, but check on those out too. And thank you again. I don't know who shares, but every week I see, last week there was 2 shares of the channel, like every week other than just 1 week, I think, since I created this video. So I feel so grateful for all of you guys that you share these videos with somebody where not only you felt it was helpful, but you thought somebody in your life who would, feel inspiration, motivation from this video. So that's just warms my heart, really. So thank you for being in this journey with me, especially when I started this journey. It was hard, but I am so grateful that I'm in a completely different place than where I was a year ago, and now I look at things in so much excitement and with curiosity that who knows how the months are going to unfold? Who knows how I would who I would become, in the next January. So that's how I look at life, and I know that last January I did not look at it that way. So thanks to all of you, and I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, and I'll make some shorts later in the day, and I'll be back tomorrow morning. I'll try to make the videos in the morning. I think that will push me to get up earlier more and more. Okay, bye. Take care.